This is the King Chasing Podcast, where we keep Christ at the center of athletics. Here's your host, Brandon Gilmore.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Brandon, and this is the King Chasing Podcast. As always, thanks for joining us, and please make sure to visit our website at theNCCAA.org for more King Chasing content. Today's guest is Camilo Rodriguez, the goalkeeping and assistant coach for Clemson University's men's soccer team. Camilo is in his 7th season with the Tigers, who won the 2021 NCAA Men's Soccer National Championship. The 2021 Tigers goalkeeper group combined for 10 shutouts and the 15th best goals against average in the country. Prior to Clemson, Camilo spent 8 seasons as head coach of the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors, leading them to 2 NCCAA Division I men's soccer national championships and earning NCCAA Coach of the Year honors in 2013. Thanks for listening today, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with Camilo. Well, hey, Camilo, welcome to King Chasing. How are you doing today?
Good, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you on today. You're now in your 7th year as the goalkeeping and assistant men's soccer coach at Clemson. During your time there, the Tigers have made the NCAA tournament 5 times and won the national championship last year. When that final whistle blew, what was going through your head?
Oh man, a lot of things go through your head. There's so much time and effort that we put into this, year after year. And after I think I'm going into my almost 15, 16 season in college soccer as a coach. One of the things that I've learned is it doesn't matter what division you're playing. Winning a national championship is very difficult. Uh, so when you are able to achieve something like this, it's just just you kind of feel relieved because you know that all the hard work that you put in, it's kind of paid off. So it was just a sense of happiness, fulfillment, thankfulness, and obviously just thankful to be able to lead that experience at a place like Clemson at this level.
Yeah. Was there a specific point in the season where you kind of knew, man, this team is special and might be capable of winning it all?
Yeah, so this past season was a very interesting one, and it was a very good when it comes to like learning about college athletics, and this was not our best team. The last obviously I've been here for 7 years now, and I can clearly tell you there was at least 3 other teams in years prior that I felt were more talented. Um, but this team just had a great group of men with great character, and obviously we had a lot of experience as well because of Kobe. We had a lot of guys that actually came back the last year, so we knew that we had a lot of that, a lot of those non-tangibles that we talk about in coaching. So we knew this group was special, but we lost. We had 2 main number 9 strikers. One of them we lost early in the season, which was one of our captain. The only one we lost him in the first game of postseason. So when we lost those guys, we knew that it was going to be a challenging postseason for us. And then we just started kind of finding a groove and finding ways to win. But I think it was when we went to Oregon State. At that point, Oregon State was the number 1 team in the country, and we traveled across the country to their field, play in a pretty tough atmosphere, and we got hammered, we got battered for the first 45 minutes. Those guys should have been up 2 or 3 goals, but we found a way to stay in the game, and then we knew that if we could stay in the game for 60, 70 minutes, they would start dropping their level because they didn't sub much. So as we got closer to the second half, we knew we were in the game, and then we went to penalties. And then when we won the pens, I felt like if we were able to do this to the number 1 team in the country, I feel like we can win it all. So I think Oregon State was probably the game where when we all kind of at the end of the game looked and say we can definitely do this all the way.
Yeah. You've been pretty instrumental to the overall success of the Tigers since you arrived, but specifically looking at last year's tournament run, The team allowed just 3 goals in 5 games. You won 2 penalty shootouts, and your goalkeeper, George Marks, tallied 15 saves and was named the defensive MVP of the College Cup. How proud were you of the team and to have been a part of that?
No, I'm super proud, man. That's one of the things that makes you feel, again, all this hard work that we put in, and when you see, you know, guys like George who came here as a freshman and worked so hard and had probably one of the most professional mentalities. Just hardworking kid. To see all the 3 years that he put in working with me, and then see it all paid off, it just makes you really proud. He not only on the field, but he was a captain as well. And what people don't see is all the things that he and the other captains do off the field for the team that are just, if not more important than the penalty shootouts. And that's what made that group so special. But yeah, definitely sharing that, like, the moment and that experience with George was very unique. Because of my position here, I get to um, get really close and get to know a lot the goalkeepers, and work with the backs. And so I'm pretty close to those guys. To see George have such a successful tournament was very, very gratifying for me.
Now, before Clemson, you were the head coach at NCCAA member school Southern Wesleyan University for 8 seasons, and you led the Warriors to 2 NCCAA national championships. I'm curious how special that is for you to have won national titles at both the NCCAA level and then now the NCAA Division One level.
Oh, it's pretty cool, man. Like I said earlier, like, it doesn't matter the level. Winning a national championship is extremely important, extremely difficult, and to be able to do it, 3 times, at different levels is something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And one of the things that I'm very proud of, just because, like I said, just it's not just having a good team; it's just having a lot of things going your way. Just a lot of things have to fall in place for that to happen. There are people who've been coaching for 30, 40 years and they never had an opportunity to play in a national final. And,
Yeah.
and I've had the opportunity to do that 3 times. So, I consider myself a very blessed coach and a very, very blessed man. So, yeah, it's super, super cool.
How has the journey been for you spiritually as you transition from Southern Wesleyan, a private faith-based institution, to now a public institution?
Um, it hasn't been too difficult, to be honest with you. At the beginning coming in, I thought it would be harder, but because the proximity of the schools, like the South here is still, I think it's more common to be able to share your faith in scenarios like where I am, right? Um, so, but it is a little bit different because obviously when you work at an NCCA institution, that's kind of your main goal. That's the main emphasis. When you come to a Division 1, especially Power 5 school, it is not. So you do have to be a little bit more intentional on how you go to about building those relationships and finding a way to live your life in a way that people can notice and see the difference. Luckily here at Clemson, we are supported. We have an FCA member that comes and meets with our guys weekly, and we have a really good relationship, and I try to be as involved as I can with them. So so no, it's been great. It's just a different way to do it. I feel like and you have more of a platform when you are at an NCCA school, but I think we all can find platforms in our jobs and in our daily lives where we can still show light.
Yeah, you touched on this a little bit, but being at Clemson, Dabo Sweeney's there. He's been very outspoken about his faith. Has his boldness been an inspiration to you?
I don't know if it'll be an inspiration, but it's pretty cool to see how he uses his platform, to deliver the message. I think that's pretty cool. Again, that's one of the reasons why maybe here at Clemson, people are more open to talking about faith and Jesus and God. So I think that helps a little bit. But I think we all have different ways to go about our faith and how we share it with other people. And I think I respect everybody, and I'll certainly respect the way he does it. I'm definitely not that kind of a person. Probably the way I live my life and my faith is different. But he does open a lot of opportunities and doors for all of us to be able to be more open and share our own lives and our experiences.
Now, coaching at an NCAA Division I school has to take up a lot of your time and energy. What advice do you have for coaches who may be struggling balancing their work, family, and faith?
It is the most difficult thing of my job. I think personally, obviously I have a young family. I have three kids that are under seven, and obviously wife, and that's the thing that is the hardest thing for me is to manage and having a balanced life. Um, there is, obviously, the more you see, the more I've been in this, the more I see coaches that are having the same issues, and I think that's where it's so important to have your priorities straight, and having your foundations and knowing what's important in your life. I think also it's different when you're a head coach. You can manage your own time. You're in control of what you want to do. When you're not the head coach, you don't have as much control. So depending on where you are in those roles, I think that you have to prioritize on how you do your things every day, because the time expectation here at this level is pretty high and demanding. So spending time with your family, it's tough. Same thing with like something as simple as going to church. Like we train on Sundays because we've been playing on Monday, so it kind of changes the way normally your routine would be. Uh, I think there are stages throughout the year where you have more time to be able to maybe go to church and do those things, and there are times when you have to kind of be more intentional and try to spend more time on your own when you can go to church. Is make sure that you still spend time daily and try to stay close to the Word and do those things. But yeah, no, for me, it's I don't know, it's really hard to give advice because I think they're all situations a little bit different. But I do think that it's important that your priorities are always straight, and that that God is first, and then based on that, you kind of manage your time as good as you can, because you know I got told we talk with the staff here, our my main job in this life is to be obviously a husband for my wife and a father of my kids, and that's my number one role job before I'm a coach. So I try to I try to do that the way how I spend my time, but it's not always doable just because of the timing demands of my job.
Now, you aren't the only one in your family who's won an NCCAA title. Your wife won a national championship in 2007 as a student athlete. I'm curious, did her experience as a student athlete, along with yours, help prepare you both for the demands of being a college coach?
I think I would say that it does, but I don't think you actually comprehend until you are actually submerged into it, right? Just because, at the beginning, you think, oh, this is awesome being athletics, and it is, but it also, now that we have kids, like it's because I'm gone a lot and I spend a lot of time, with the team, then a lot of things fall on her lap. So I don't think until you're in that spot, you don't realize the importance of what I do and the time and all that. But I think certainly, being a student athlete, she understands, she knows what we expect from our players and kind of what the expectations are from us as a staff as well. So I think it has helped us, but I think we've also learned, through the years and experience. My experience as a head coach was very different than the one that I'm experiencing right now. So every stage a bit different, and we're just trying to learn together and how to navigate through, coaching, family, parenting, and all those things in life that is so important.
Now, after Clemson's win this year over Indiana, Clemson tweeted out that you have the best atmosphere in college soccer. How important is it for fans to come out and give that true home field advantage?
It's super important, man. I think that's one of the things that it makes Clemson special is like not only in soccer but most of the sports. When you come to a sporting event here at Clemson, like there is a lot of people that support our sports, and for us, we played the two Fridays that we played at home, we had 6,000 plus people in each game, and
Wow.
it just gives you a different kind of energy, and I think that's one of our keys in success over the last few years. I think we probably are a top five team when it comes to winning home games, and part of it is because we do have that support. When we play the NCAA NCAA tournament games here at Clemson. I mean, the atmosphere is incredible and the support is awesome. And the team, soaks it up and uses it for our advantage. So, the more people that we can get here, the better. And we talk about it sometimes when we go to other ACC schools to play important games, their support is not even close to what we get here. So we know that we're very thankful, and blessed to have such a great university behind us, and the fans and the students that always are there for not just men's soccer but a lot of the this past weekend there was 80,000 people watching football. And
Right.
you go to the softball games, like the stadium is now too small because they have too many people. So that's a huge advantage in college athletics.
Yeah, that's great. Couple final questions here. The World Cup is almost upon us. I know, speaking right before this podcast, Colombia is your team, and unfortunately, they are not in it this time around. So I'm curious, who are you going to be rooting for, and who do you think is going to actually win it all?
So funny thing is, like, I just actually became an American citizen this year.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Congratulations.
so thank you. So um, obviously now that I have kids, my oldest kid, Luca, he's all about soccer. He loves it. So it's pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
But because obviously he's American, he thinks he's South Colombian as well. So those are our two teams, right? But um, so when Colombia didn't make it, I was very disappointed, obviously. And now obviously I want to support the U.S. But also, like, I've always been a fan of Argentina, the way they play. Luca is a huge Messi fan, so he actually will probably cheer for Argentina more than either U.S. or Colombia. Uh, so those are the two teams that I will probably support. I do think that Germany has a really good squad, and Spain is always favored. So uh, it is a little bit weird, because the World Cup timing is different.
Right.
It's something, it doesn't really feel like a World Cup year.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it's going to affect the schedule, the time of the games. So I'm very skeptical about the whole experience of the World Cup, just because of the timing, and obviously growing up, this is just the biggest deal of summers, and now not having it in the summer, games being on 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Not sure if he's going to lose a little bit of his magic, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. It should be exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Camilo, that's all the time we have, but thank you so much for joining us on King Chasing today.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to Camilo for sharing about his experience in Clemson's 2021 national championship run, his success at Southern Wesleyan University, and his advice on balancing work, family, and faith. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the King Chasing podcast on whatever app you use to listen. We would also appreciate it if you encouraged others to listen and subscribe. Once again, we're thankful to you for tuning in and supporting us. Join us next time on King Chasing. Take care, everyone.